Thank you so much for joining, everybody. It's so nice to see so many people joining here live. And I've wanted to create a second masterclass for many reasons, because there's just so much to learn and so much to understand about the Healy, and not just about the Healy, but about our bodies. Our bodies are so powerful, and we are often looking in the way of searching for a Healy program, but really without thinking about the root cause of where and why we're going to be choosing a Healy program in the first place. So Healy Masterclass number 2. So we're going to be talking about healing on this session. And that's what we want. We all want to, that's, if we're all honest, that's why we're all here, right? We all want to have better well-being, better health, better flow in life. And it isn't just about fixing the symptoms. Okay, it's also about changing the frequency of your body, of your energy field at the most deepest level, moving away from the surface level, which a lot of classes with the Healy talk about lots of things, but they don't go deep. And so I really wanted to deliver something really different today, because there's only a certain amount of positive thinking you can do. There's only a certain amount of supplements you can take. Because if that was the case, I'm sure we'd all be thriving by now. And of course, we've always going to have something that's going to come in and sidetrack us. But we all want to be realizing why we're trapped in a loop. A lot of us are, whether it be like a hormone imbalance, or maybe it's about not being able to sleep, or maybe it's about finances and you can't keep money in your bank and it just constantly disappearing and you don't understand why. So we're going to be talking a lot today about cells, okay? And I really want to focus on cellular energy, because your cells hold your trauma, they hold your past, they hold generations before you've passed, they hold stress patterns, they hold ancestral memories. And when your cells are overloaded, or if they're not healthy, then you're going to start feeling fatigue. You're going to start to feel brain fog. You're going to start to feel different emotions, ups and downs, like you're on a roller coaster. You're going to feel like potentially stress. And we're also going to be looking at the information field, because let's not forget about that. It's also just as important as your cells. And this is your energy blueprint. And this is your energy field. And it's beyond the body. It's where your belief systems are held. The belief systems are also held in the cells, but your belief systems can also be held in the field. It can also be your subconscious programming. And it's anything on a deeper energetic, any patterns. And if something's off, your field is going to tell you. You're going to know, because you're going to feel that in the field. Have you ever been around someone that's just not in a good mood and they come into your field and you're like, oh, this doesn't feel good? That's your field talking to you. So we're going to be learning to listen to ourselves today, but also listen to the communication of our body as well. So welcome everyone if you've just joined. We're just getting started. I'm just giving you an overview. So today I'm going to show you how Healy can work not only just on pinpointing symptoms, it's going to help you to shift. I'm going to show you how you can shift the root cause by bringing your cells and everything into harmony. Okay, and so you can sleep again, or you get a bit more of a balance in your hormones. And I just want to say that I'm not here as a doctor. And I'm not telling you that this is going to heal you or this is going to treat anything. It's just a guide of experiences that I've had with a specific device, but also with my own self and understanding. So today's goal, this is the goal. I'm going to give you practical ways to start shifting your energy right now, today. And then how you can use Healy as your secret weapon. Wouldn't that be great? If you don't think that it's possible to find true health and well-being in this lifetime, if you don't think it's possible to find the love of your life, if you don't think that it's possible to be happier in your career or in your destination of where you're going with life, whether you want to travel the world, if you think it's not possible, then I'm going to show you the reasons why you keep hitting these same problems over and over, and why you're not finding this, and why you don't think that it's possible, why you not think it's possible to be in a relationship. I'm also going to show you the root cause of this, and also to give you a new understanding of what if it was possible to find those things. Because back then, back in the day, I didn't think it was possible either to do some of those things. And I thought it was so beyond my reach. But now I am living completely amazing life. And it's not always perfect. That's not possible. But I live a life that I want, and I feel healthy and I feel good in my body. So what if it was possible to have better sleep? What if it was possible to build a strong, conscious relationship? What if it was possible to have a love without heated arguments? What if it was possible to feel more confident in your work? What if it was possible that you're receiving a certain amount of money and you're getting a new high-paying client if you're working for yourself, or getting yourself out of a negative bank balance? What if it was possible? Can you imagine that? I know some of you will be coming from a point of view with the Healy today that you've potentially got a bit of a roadblock because you've got this amazing device in your hand, right? And you feel like, oh, where do I even begin? I'm not technical. There's no support. Even though I think something's changing around that, I heard that there's a chat with support now, which is great. I haven't even tried support recently, so let me know if that's true. And you've been felt like you haven't got any real guidance since you've bought the Healy. You've left with tons of questions, loads of doubts. You've tried it. You're not sure which program to do. You're not getting results. There's like a ton of different roadblocks. And actually, this is stopping you from even understanding or enjoying this device and the true potential of it is. And I know that many of you have had many health issues for a long time. And maybe even you've had like your person who sold you it, your upline has disappeared. This is a big one. Okay, so many people that I have, like, they got this, given this, told to buy this thing, and they bought it, and then the upline just vanished into midair. Who did that happen to? Let me know. So you might be frustrated right now with this device in your hands, or you might not. But don't worry, because that's why I'm here. That's why we're here today. We're going to be looking at your energetics. We're going to understand why some of these problems are showing up in your life, like the no sleep or some of the health issues. And then I'm going to be showing you and supporting you to really know how to experience this true potential of this device as well. So we're going to be looking at the signs today, the signs of the body telling us when there's something wrong. We're going to learn to listen to them. We're going to be asking the question, what's going on inside of me? We're going to be thinking about what emotions and feelings are coming up around specific issues. We're going to be changing our perspective on how we can approach a problem, and also how you can bring your awareness to it as well. And then we're going to be looking at how Healy can support you with this particular issue that's showing up in your life again and again and again. And I'm going to help you to do this. So I love it. Bring it. Yes. Yeah, keep the meeting chat going, guys, because I have it up today and it keeps me motivated. Let's go. So my goals for this masterclass today, there's 3 goals, right? The first one is how to sleep better and deeper. Might seem simple. And don't worry if you sleep great. You're going to get an insight into how we can approach a problem, because each of these is just an example of how you can start to listen to yourself as well. The next one is release irritability that makes you short-tempered so that your friends don't feel like they're walking on eggshells around you. We're getting specific here. Who's been in that situation when you felt really irritable and people around you are like not wanting to approach you? I definitely have been there for sure. And then we've got break the cycle of financial struggle. This is one that comes up. I have to put it in there because I had an amazing testimonial and we found something completely different to change your ideas on how you can break the cycle in a completely different way that you may have never tried before. So that's going to be fun when we get to that part. Oh, thank you guys. I'm reading the chat, seeing the love. So first, let me just tell you a little bit about me. This is me before. That's me in a horse box. Yes, a horse box. I am there selling flour, believe it or not, in the COVID times. There was a shortage of flour and I was selling 20 kilo bags of flour. Everyone seemed to become an expert baker. which was hilarious. And I was shifting flour from the horse box. But you'll see the story afterwards. That wasn't exactly my dream job, honestly. I was there and didn't have much else to do. I didn't know. I just moved to Glastonbury, so I didn't actually have a plan. But I was delivering food boxes to people who were too afraid to leave their houses. It was really tiring. I was getting there at 6 a.m. and leaving at 10 p.m. I didn't have a life at all. And I didn't know what I was going to do with my life. I didn't even know how long that was going to last for, to be honest. It was like such a crazy time. But anyway, I was exhausted. What I didn't notice at the time until later is something I had an awareness into, was that my body was carrying years and years of stress. I'd been working in the music industry back in Berlin before I moved to Glastonbury, and it was a lot. I was really struggling. I was definitely just avoid listening to my feelings and what was going on with me and in my body. I had a lot of emotions. I had them since I was a teenager. I didn't know what to do with my emotions. And they were uncontrollable. I felt like they could come out at any time. And this was all happening at a cellular level. But yeah, I didn't realize it at the time. But my energy, my mindset, and my physical state were all being shaped by what my cells were holding on to from the past, from things that happened in all different parts of my life, including childhood situations. It was all part of me, and it shaped me to be that person. And that becomes our identity. We're like going through life, yeah, that's just me. That's who I am. And so that was me. That was who I was. And a friend told me about this device called a Healy. And it worked with energy, she said, and it worked with the body. And I didn't understand any of it. I didn't get it at all. I'd never heard of anything like it. And she was telling me how it shifts things from the inside out. I was like, okay, I don't know about that, but I like challenges. I like challenging myself. So I had no idea. But anyway, I decided to try something new, and I made the decision to buy it. And that decision changed everything in my life to the point where here I am today. So after I had a huge shift with the Healy, and it happened within days, so I had actually a healing crisis, which means I did too many things at the same time. My body could not catch up with my healing. So I went into a big emotional overdrive. And that's how I became here today. So I started learning everything I could about what happened to me. So how cells hold trauma, and how your frequency can start to recalibrate the nervous system, that your information field stores patterns that kind of shape our total reality. And also how important it was to actually use Healy in the best way to make the best possible results happen and to make real lasting shifts. So after this overdrive, and when I started using Healy at the beginning, I actually met an incredible group of people that work with frequency devices. And you'll see in the picture here, there's a really old school Tesla device, that's like 100 years old. Can you believe it? So they worked a lot with frequency healing, and they taught me a lot about the science, the history, the quantum mechanics of it all. And I noticed after some time that people were using Healy and they weren't getting any results. And I was trying to understand that a little bit. And it wasn't because it didn't work. It was because people were not sure how to use it. And because it's a quantum device, the way you use Healy, it's really important that you're using it in a way that it speaks to yourself and your nervous system and to your unique energy field. So it's really important that we really learn from that perspective as well. And I'm not here to give you a science class. I'm really not. It's more about just giving you the awareness of how to actually approach a problem and understand that it is a cellular thing and it's not your fault. It's inside of you and it can be shifted. So today we're going to be looking at how we can understand the root cause on an energetic level. Okay. And then I just wanted to show you, this is a beautiful picture of a cell. How gorgeous is that? It's a piece of art, but I had to put it in here. It's just to give you the idea that your cells are like little globes. Each cell in your body. Think of how many cells you have in the body, right? Each one is a little globe like this. This is your ecosystem of a cell. And it's very important to know that there's something called the mitochondria. Okay, you don't have to remember that name, but they're called powerhouses of the cell. It's how you bring energy into the cell. And this mitochondria play a role in powering every single cell in the body. So the less power you have in a cell, the less efficient it becomes. So if, for example, you had a mobile phone and it ran out of battery, what would you do? You wouldn't just leave it and be like, oh, it's dead. What would you do? You'd plug it in and charge it, right? Well, this is what we have to do with our bodies. It's exactly the same thing. You could call Healy your charger for the body, right? This is really what we're doing here. So the less energy you have in your cells, the more fatigue you're going to have. That's the first sign. So if you're feeling tired, you have to start thinking about how much power you have in your cells. The less you have, the more kind of imbalances you have. Okay, that's just the kind of the overview of it. But not only that, in these little cells also hold trauma and emotional stress, PTSD, anything that's happened in your life, it's become a pattern. It's all held in your cells in this little ecosystem. So just a quick overview: not enough energy, fatigue, muscle weakness, metabolic issues, neurological symptoms. So how can Healy be your secret weapon? This is really important because we're going to learn how Healy can support you. So how to sleep better and deeper. Who has sleep issues here? I'd be very interested to know. I was expecting that. Quite a lot of you are struggling with sleep issues, and I'm sure they're not all the same. I'm sure some of you are struggling to get to sleep. To some of you are waking up in the night. To some of you are not sleeping deeply. To some of you just sleeping, but waking up the next day feeling totally exhausted. And everyone has their own experience with sleep. But we have to remember that our body is not at war with us. This is something we have to really understand. What it's doing is it's really intelligent as the body. And it's talking to us and it's giving us a sign. So remember, if your sleep is not good, we really have to think deeper and look deeper into our energetics and see what's actually going on inside of me and what needs some love. In this moment now, you can really ask yourself that question: what's going on inside of me? What needs some love? Because I tried every single sleep program there was with my sleep issues. It didn't work. And so I found another way. So it's all about looking at what feelings and emotions are attached to something that doesn't feel right or what's going on inside of you. And when we learn to listen, it's really then that we know what it's saying. Okay, so maybe you haven't really listened that strongly yet, or maybe you have. But why do you have this problem, right? This is the question. Why? So we're always looking externally for the answers with whatever problem we have with the body. But it's not the only way. We need to look at our inner energetics, because however your sleep is showing up for you in your life, it's really important to know, right? So if you fall asleep easily at night, like I said before, waking up with disturbances, maybe you can't function in the day, maybe it feels like you're in a torture chamber at night and you're spinning for hours and hours trying to do a meditation or putting on some beautiful music to try to fall asleep. For me, it was always the hypnosis. It works sometimes, but it still always came back. Sometimes the harder you try, the more awake you're feeling as well. This is the worst part, is it like just keeps going around and around. So these are just some examples. But I'm going to tell you about how I actually solved the sleep issue in my life, because this one's about me, because I really feel like what I did really helped me. So just to remember that all our emotions are good and they all have valuable messages, whatever's coming up. And realize that this is a doorway to understand yourself even better. Okay, and this is actually a way to to see, oh, wow, only when something goes wrong do we really listen to what's happening in our life. And this is what this masterclass is actually about. It's about really seeing what's going wrong. On the topic of sleep, I was the person that was waking up a lot in the night. Okay. I also struggled to get to sleep, but I also used to wake up in the night quite a bit. And so I started to look at what was going on, okay, that was deeper than just not being able to sleep. So I realized at the time that I wasn't happy in my day-to-day life. I wasn't happy in my work at the time at all. And I pretended I was, because I just thought that was life, and it was that self-identity. This is just the way it is. And I was stressed, and there was a lot of work and not enough time, and my boss was just didn't care about the people that worked for them. And he didn't care that I actually wanted to grow in the work. I was really wanting to move with the business, and I felt really frustrated and overwhelmed and undervalued. These emotions were keeping me up at night. It wasn't actually the notes, just I couldn't sleep. And I knew that I had to do something. So I wanted to share this. Who's seen the map of consciousness before? So I'm sure some of you have. It's from Power versus Force. It's a wonderful book. But I just wanted to share a little bit about emotions, where they sit in the body, because we don't realize like where things are. So you'll see the bottom part of the graph is force. The top part is power. Often when we feel a certain emotion, and it can be unconscious as well, we are sitting in a force. So we're always forcing something. So for me, I was fearful. I was fearful to do my own thing, actually. I was fearful. I had a desire. I had a desire, but it was still in force. Just because we have a desire doesn't mean that that's passion. It's not, it's different. But on a deep level, my truth was that I wanted to do my own thing. And I wanted to be in control of my own life. I wanted to be creative and passionate and be my own boss. I didn't think I could at the time. I had no confidence, but I was in a place where I was like, maybe I could do that one day. I have no idea how that looks like. And at the time, I was just trying to prove myself. I was looking for confirmation from somebody else that I could do it. I don't know if anybody else has ever been there before, where they're working for someone else and they're looking for validation. I wanted to take control of how I wanted to be creative. I wanted to be in control of my emotions. I didn't want somebody else to be in control of when I could do a project or not. So this was the reason why I was waking up at night. I had to deep dive to find this out, because a lot of the time we're avoiding the idea that we're unhappy in our lives. I was unhappy. I listened to my body, and I said to myself, what needs love? What needs love? And I closed my eyes, and I sent love to that feeling in my body of fear. And I sent love to the disappointment. I was working for someone else because they were never happy. I really sent love to the shame and guilt that I felt. I had a lot of that growing up. That was all in my cells. It was always a part of this. So I needed to give my body a break. And so what I did was I decided to call in sick at work. And I never did it, but it was totally necessary, because I had this a big aha moment. I knew that something had to change, and I took an action step towards myself. And I realized I needed to work on my inner energy. And this is when Healy became my secret weapon. So what did I need? That was the question. I needed to have more creativity in my life. I needed to express myself. I wanted to have more responsibility in my life as well. I didn't want to just be the sheep working for someone else. I wanted to feel powerful in being able to express what I wanted. And I wanted to communicate better. I wanted to start to work on the root cause of what caused my stress, which was I was talking about the shame and the guilt, things growing up and things that had happened in my childhood, in my life, that were stopping me from moving forward and being confident. I wanted to work on those things. I was ready to do that. So how could Healy be my secret weapon? This is the question, right? So this is a really simple thing, but all it was just to realize I needed different programs for the sleep programs, but it took a deep dive to get there. So my destination was better sleep, right? I tried all the programs, didn't work, but the journey to my destination was more happiness in my job and in my career. So I needed two things. I needed to get rid of the fear that was holding me back to follow my journey. And I needed also the kick up the bum to do it, to actually be confident, because it's so easy just to get stuck and go, oh, I can't do this. So I started doing 3 programs. The first one is the mental balance. Mental balance is the ones that you do with the ear clips. They make you feel like you're on a boat if you have the ear clips. Anyway, you can use the wristbands with them as well, so don't worry, or the coil. And actually from that was the one I started using to start with. And this is what helped me to move out of my job, right? To the block started to dissolve. I started wanting to do my own thing. The Healy was going to be my thing. I started doing the activation program on job. That was my second program. And the third was stress. I needed to work on my stress levels, so that I needed that to keep me calm whilst I was going through this huge life transition. So a week later, some of you know the story, I said it before, I quit my job and I started working my own company, starting working with my true passion, which happened to be energy and healing. So with Healy, it took me to understand and to deep dive within my psyche and my body and understand what my cells are going through. And that solved my sleep problem. I never had problems sleeping again. And so it just shows you that sometimes there is another reason, rather than just treating the symptom of no sleep in your life. Maybe have a think about what's keeping you up at night and really feel into it, because this can change your whole life and it might require some courage. These are the 3 programs: activation, stress systemic, and mental balance acute. Maybe you're in a similar situation than what I was. Maybe you want to change your life direction. Maybe these 3 programs are going to help you and get better sleep in the process. So hopefully you've enjoyed that first lesson. I'm going to move on to number 2. And like I said, just in terms of if you've got questions around this, please just pop them in the chat. I will answer them at the end. I like using the wristbands. The wristbands work direct with the cells. That's why you can feel the tingles. That's why you can feel the actual vibrations when you use the wristbands. It's direct. It's like getting a direct flight to your destination instead of having to, take another 3 different stop-offs. Think about it like that. You're a direct flight to your destination. You'll get there in the end if you use the coil. Don't get me wrong. It's powerful, but just remember that it's going to be quicker if you take the direct method. Okay, number 2. This one's about a client, and this one's really amazing too. So how to release irritability that makes you short-tempered so your friends don't feel like they're walking on eggshells around you. So my client was struggling with emotions and frustration and irritability and was really not able to function. She also had brain fog. She couldn't think straight. And she just thought it was normal. She was at that point where it was like becoming her identity. Who here suffers from brain fog? Let me know. Or irritability. So why do we have these problems? Okay, it's not the only way to look externally outside the body. Okay, we need to look at our inner energetics, and we need to look at what was my client not dealing with, what was going on for her. So again, just to confirm, cells hold everything: energy, trauma, memories. And when your cells are healthy, your life flows, your energy flows. You feel alive, you feel clear, you can breathe. When your cells are not healthy, you feel stuck, you feel tired, you can feel overwhelmed, you can feel anxious. And your body remembers. all of these things that's held in there. Your mind, on the other hand, loves to forget. It loves to forget when we have had difficult times, when we've had trauma. And it's okay. It's the way that our body protects ourselves. We all do it. It's the way that we live our lives, because we have to feel safe. It's all about feeling safe in our lives and moving through life feeling safe, feeling like our nervous system's not going to be in survival mode. We don't want to go outside of this safety box. So all our emotions are in the cells, in the body, and your cells are holding on to them. And that's why you keep repeating the same patterns and the same cycles over and over and over. You feel drained. You might feel like you can't move forward. So many different things, because it's all there in your cells. What was going on for Jane? That's my client. Again, remembering all emotions are good and have valuable messages. This is a doorway to understand yourself better. So I decided to do a Healy scan on this situation. I was like, let's do a Healy aura scan. This was like my first idea, and see if anything would come up. The Healy aura scan is great to spark conversation about things that are happening in the psyche. If anyone has clients and you want to work with Healy on a deep level, and your clients has no idea what's going on for them, a really nice method is to do a Healy aura scan, because something might come up that might spark them to start to talk about things that may have happened. So this is exactly what happened with Jane. So what came up was the throat chakra was really low, and it said chaos mode. So I was like, chaos means that sometimes the throat chakra is very high with energy, and sometimes it's very low. So it's like never balanced. It's always like, woo, really expressive, and then sometimes really not, like a roller coaster of emotions. And then when I clicked do a deeper analysis, there was some insights about control of the mother and not feeling free to express emotions. And this scan also came up as a parental potency. D1E26 is the potency. And if you've got the vibe guide, I talk about this. I've created a vibe guide, and I'll share that at the end. So she was really blown away. She couldn't believe it. And I had no idea about anything. And I said, okay, does this mean anything to you? And she said, yes. Like, she had a lot of issues as a child when she wasn't allowed to express herself. She had very strict, manipulative mum, actually, and used to be afraid to be herself. And this really stopped her from feeling confident in her life. As a teenager, she used to always be the shy one, and she became a people pleaser. So she wanted to always just make everybody else happy rather than herself, and not wanting to do her own thing. And she just realized that she was having an identity crisis at this point. And it was just really powerful. As you know, the Healer aura scans are quite amazing when it becomes really accurate. And it was a real aha moment for her to realize that, yeah, there was something going on for her as a child with this aura scan. Okay, but how does this relate, right? How does this relate to being irritable? And I'm going to get there, don't worry. So what I did first was I actually sent the vibrations into her field, and I used one of my own methods. I did an emotional exercise with her, which was to support her inner child. I used a specific technique called Latihan. I don't know if anyone's heard of Latihan before, but it's a surrender-based technique, which allows the client or the person to allow their body and their voice to move, but naturally. It's quite powerful. And it's almost like you're guided by an inner force or divine energy, and then you move into power, and then you walk into acceptance and trusting and release. And it was really powerful because we used one of my meditations with this scan, and it really helped her to see something different, and it helped her cells to really start to release something. It obviously takes more than one session, but it definitely started to the journey for her transformation. So how was Healy her secret weapon in this situation? Because what we found, we did a digital nutrition scan as well with her, with the situation of being irritable. And just so you know, she was all the time snapping at friends. She was not being kind to people. She was really pushing people away in her life, actually, as a result of her mood. And she really just was sick of it. She didn't want this anymore. She wanted to not have this mood control her life and her friendships. So the digital nutrition scan came up with 3 amazing things. Actually, it came up with eyes, liver, and thyroid. So again, throat, all about expression. Thyroid, liver, and eyes actually are all connected. They're all connected with the optic nerve, the vagus nerve, all about communicating signals. And these all affect vision, voice, throat function. So for her, it was big actually to realize that this was also another deeper meaning, a root cause, what was affecting her organs from this emotional issue that she'd had in her inner child. As a child, she had not released that. And so this emotional trauma was affecting her vagus nerve signals with her eyes and her throat. So it was all connected. There was really such a huge realization for her. And it made sense the thyroid was out of balance because it impacts mood, energy balances, hormones, fatigue, anxiety, depression. And this is what was going on for her. So what I did was I had her vibrate the 3 pink programs. She actually had the digital nutrition, so she used them directly to the body. But you can just vibrate this from the Blue app if you don't have digital nutrition, and vibrate them daily. And then we were also sending the vibrations of the aura scan, and I did that daily for 28 days. I used the vibe guide because it was a chronic issue. It was really deep in her psyche. And within a week of sending the vibrations and doing the programs daily, she said that people started to reach out to her. She didn't even do anything. The people that she'd been pushing away started to come to her. And somehow the energetics changed so much that she didn't even actually do anything different apart from change her energetics. And then these friends that had gone out of her life just called her one day asking to meet up and wanted to hang out. And she called me and she was like, you can never believe it. This happened. And I think it had been like more than a year that these friends had gone in a different direction. And we all know, like, you end up hanging out with people that you're vibrating on the same level as. And if you're vibrating on a lower level than your friends, then you're not going to feel connected anymore. And it's the same thing with relationships, with love relationships. Sometimes you feel like you're just not on the same page. Maybe because you're growing. Maybe it's a positive thing. You're growing and you're doing vibration therapy on yourself with Healy or with any kind of device. Maybe you're working on yourself, self-development, and you're starting to vibrate. You're starting to level up. You're starting to really start to vibrate and shine. And your partner who you met 2-3 years ago, even longer, not doing the work. They're vibrating at a low level and you're just not in coherence anymore. And this happens. And so that's what had been happening with her friends. And then she started to vibrate higher, and then their friends came back into her life. So this is how Healy was her secret weapon in the end. And not only that, this is even another amazing thing that happened to her was her mother, who also she'd had the childhood issues with, reached out. And she didn't have a very good relationship with her mother, but she reached out and wanted to talk. And they ended up having a very deep conversation about her childhood. And her mother had realized a lot of things. And it was just incredible how the domino effect happened by her just doing a week of these pink programs and the Healy scan vibrations, and how her whole life started to shift because she'd worked on the cellular energy and was removing the trauma of the cells. So it was really a fantastic experience. So I'm going to move on to number 3. And this is the last one for the day. And this is about breaking the cycle of financial struggle. So who here has money problems and has been working on it for a long time, and nothing ever really sticks? Pop in the chat money so I can see. Yes. Okay, I've got lots of yeses in there. Beautiful. Okay, number 3, breaking the cycle of financial struggle. So how are we going to do this? So this is another client that I had who had done all the work, right? This is someone that had been doing like years and years and years. She'd done a ton of manifestation programs. She'd done loads of self-worth sessions. She'd even spent thousands with a one-to-one. She really felt she'd really made huge changes, but for some reason, she still struggled. And she actually had her dream job, but she couldn't really hold on to money. This was one of the main issues. And she felt like she just didn't have enough money to do the things that she really dreamed of. So she had money coming in, but she couldn't go on that retreat that she wanted to go on, or she couldn't take that trip abroad where to the other side of the world and just live in a gorgeous place. So why do you have this problem, right? This is the question. Why do you still have the problem? Why are you still in the loop? Why are you still going around and around, spinning, same thing happening over and over again? So we looked at energetically, like I talked to her about it, and it's really about going deep. Like, what haven't we thought about? What could still be blocking her? What, it could have been ancestral or karmic, of course, because that's quite difficult to shift. And I think that it's important that we know that karmic and ancestral can really be sticky, but it's possible to shift it. And I know a lot of you are working on that a lot. I talked to her about money and about her family history. So she mentioned that she had lived in her family home all her life. She still lived in her family home. Actually, her mother had passed away and she'd got the house. So she was living in her house that she grew up in. And the house had actually been in the family for generations. And I asked her if family problems had been in her family for a while, and she said yes. There was always some kind of sense of just always in survival mode. And so I said, why don't we do a Healy scan on the house? Because we forget about these ideas that if you look around your space right now, look at everything. Maybe you've got a drawer full of stuff, right? Everyone has one of those drawers. Maybe you've got some junk in the corner. Maybe you need to do like a clearing out of a room. Maybe you're holding on to a bunch of old stuff that's been passed on through family members. And it doesn't mean you need to get rid of it, but just remember that all this stuff is holding energy. It's holding energy, and it's holding the energy of the person that who's owned it, but also the people before that. Your house is holding an energy, the people that lived there before, the people that your energy, people that have come in, everything is going to be absorbed. And all these things are pulling at you all the time. It's pulling it's distracting you, and it's taking you away from the present moment. Often, if we're in a room and it's messy, it's so hard for me to concentrate in a messy room. I don't know about anyone else, but it's just how it goes. I like to have a clean, fresh room. So I said, why don't we do a scan on the house? And so we did a scan on the house, and we did that. And for those of you who don't know, you can add a house as a client. You need to go into your app, click new client, and add a house. You take a picture of the house, you put some information in, and then you do a scan. So in this case, we did a coaching scan. So I have the coaching app for her, but you can do an aura scan if you don't have coaching. And lo and behold, there was a bunch of stuff that came up around finances, because we chose finances, but the finances part was the lowest on the energy wheel. So it was really interesting. And it was all coming up with ancestral from parents and ancestral. So some of the potencies were really like mind-blowingly accurate. And then we also did an aura scan of the house as well. So we did the aura scan, and the root was very low. And it also came up a lot of stuff around money and stability. Root is always governing finances. So we were like, wow, okay, this is like incredible how accurate this is. And it was really interesting, the stuff that came up. It talked about wanting to feel safe and being in survival, and a lot of amazing scan results that really made sense to her. So what we did was we sent the harmonizing vibrations to our house for a week. We actually did 2 scanning sessions, and we sent it for a week. And in 1 week, like after we'd finished the vibrations, she got a raise at work, and she got a bonus. And so that was in 2 sessions. And she tried things for years and years. So if you haven't tried that, I really recommend trying it. And we don't think about environment. So for example, I'm just going to throw another example in here. After I gave birth, I was in hospital, and I hated the environment. I wanted a home birth. It didn't go to plan. I was in labor for 5 days. I really tried my best. I learned a lot of lessons. I was in the hospital and my blood pressure was through the roof. They wouldn't let me go home. It was so bad. Like I tried to leave and then they blue lighted me back to the hospital because they thought I was going to have a stroke. I just don't like the environment of the hospitals. I didn't feel safe there. And I knew that deep down, but they didn't. And they just kept giving me like blood pressure tablets. And I was like, I don't need these. I don't need these. When I got home, I had to come off them because my blood pressure went so low. And it's just a perfect example of environment. We're giving all these pills because we're stressed, but what about the environment? Is your environment feeling safe for you? Do you feel good in your house? Do you feel good in your current situation, your living situation, with your relationship? You have to get really deep down and dirty sometimes and realize that we're not happy. And we can change things. And if we have like great relationships that are conscious, we can change things and we can talk about our needs. It's possible. But you can also use the Healy to support with environments and changing the environment. So there's another one for you. Third secret for today. So I know some of you might have tried some of these techniques, and I just wanted to throw this in there. You might feel like, okay, I've done this before and you've never had success, but honestly, with the right guidance and really like understanding how you can truly understand your inner energetics, it can change how you use the Healy. But sometimes you just need the right guidance because you don't know to think about the environment. Not everybody thinks about that, but it's something that I'm building and creating in the background of like different methods on how to understand your inner energetics. And that way you can then use Healy and you can use it to its most best potential and unlock its magic, because that's what we want. It is magic when it works. Maybe you're struggling with the tech, don't worry. I think that this is like one big thing that it's also not just the tech, right? It's also not you. It's just because we don't have simple step-by-step videos. And that's something that I've been creating in the background as well. It's really simple tech. And also I also do demonstration videos as well for people when they need it. And then I want you to just ask yourself the question, if you really started to understand your energetics in a deep level, do you think you could find answers and harmony in the body? Because it comes down to that. If you're really fatigued and tired, it's just because your cells aren't making energy, right? That's what it comes down to. If you have brain fog, it means your cells aren't communicating. Maybe then you need the Pure program because you need to get your cells communicating better. Pure is really good for supporting communication. Anxiety. If you have anxiety, your cells are holding on to stress responses. If you've got pain, your cells are inflamed. They're stuck in survival mode. It's all about understanding on a deeper level what's going on. So healing isn't just a mindset, okay? It's not just, oh, I need to heal. You really have to shift it at the source, at the cellular level. You need to learn to breathe deeper. Something that we stop breathing, we hold our chest really tight. We don't want to go there. We don't want to feel it. But it's the only way. We've got to oxygenate our cells. If we want to increase their cellular energy, we have to breathe. We have to clear the stuck energy. We have to release what's held in the body physically. We have to go there. We have to use frequency. In this day and age, I think frequency is so crucial. I think it really can support. It helps to align ourselves to a higher vibration. It supports us during these crazy times. There's a lot of energy happening. And today is the eclipse. Happy eclipse, everyone. So how many of you are excited again about the magnificent powers of Healy? And who's ready to start getting results? Yes, ready. I'm so happy you're enjoying it. I wanted to go deep today. Oh yeah, ready. Good. So if you really want to know how to deep dive into your energetics, okay, so I've been working with energy and on a physical level. Like I was doing a lot of active meditations before. I'm a facilitator of dynamic meditation. And like I was talking about Latihan and some of the inner child meditations, and it's really powerful. And I really love to understand and work with people differently. Like I like to work on an emotional level. I like to understand what's going on in your life and really look at what's possibly not working. And it's about looking at what's in flow, what's blocked on a physical. I just saw in the chat said, what program can help with pain? Well, we have to look at where the pain is in the body, like where is it held? And we can look at what that organ's related to emotionally as well. Is there something that's happened in your life that's potentially making that happen in your body, that on a cellular level? Can you release something emotionally around that to let it go? There's so many different ways we can look at it. But yeah, we have to look at what's blocked. I also love to work with something called tapping with frequency. It's something I created. And I'm building a whole platform right now where I'm going to be doing some people don't know this yet, but it's going to be added into, I'm going to share what I'm doing in just a second if you want to go deeper on all of this knowledge. But I am going to be doing a whole series on tapping with frequency. So we're actually working with EFT, emotional freedom technique, and we're tapping on the points whilst we're running frequency programs. So we're really present with the frequency program, and we know what we're focusing on, and we know what we want to release, and we know we want to acknowledge negative, and we want to acknowledge the positive. And it's just about really connecting with what's going on in our lives to really get those results we want with frequency. And that's what I'm going to be doing. And I'm going to be sharing them in my portal, which I'd love to just share with you what's going to come next, because some of you are already in this, but I actually created a Healy 101 course. It's got 5 magical modules to unlock the power of Healy, and I go through each one. So the first one is to transform any confusion. So I show you the whole setup process of your Healy, how to actually download the apps and all this stuff that people think is easy, but it's actually not. So just to make sure you're using it and you have everything set up correctly, and so you're using it like a pro from day one. Then we go into module 2, which is about clearing your energy field. We identify and clear any hidden blockages that you might be holding on to. So I talk you through it, doing the aura analysis, using the vibe guide, how long to vibrate, so you can find balance in your day-to-day living. And then finally, module 3, personalize your healing. So we'll be looking at the resonance scanning, looking at what needs support emotionally, mentally, the I Ching for the direction in life, and how to actually read the results and understand the I Ching better, because there's a whole other world with that out there as well. How to work with the physical well-being and how to know how to vibrate it as well. And then the 4th module is about activating cellular healing. So this is what I'm talking about, working directly with the physical body and the cells, really enjoying the pink app in a different way, getting the socks and the gloves if you don't like the wristbands, bringing your body back into harmony. And then 5th module that I've got in there is about manifesting your success. So I show you how you can use the coaching module if you have it, how to align your energy, how to get your deepest goals, your dreams, how to feel abundant, how to scan your house, things like that. So the Healy 101 course is for anyone really who wants to deepen the practice, who's new to Healy, someone that might be busy, professional, who feels like they need to change something, people dealing with stress, with pain, people that just want better wellness, who feel healthy already, anyone interested in the holistic way of moving through life. And so this is the Healy 101, and it's actually valued at $199, but I'm going to be doing a really special deal for everyone today, because I'm going to be offering it as part of as a 3-month trial membership. Some of you are already in there. There's about 55 people who joined, and I'd love to share with more people, just because I feel like there's so much more to learn and to do and to support you. And I just want to bring up, like, one of the biggest things I hear the most is like, why do I need to spend more money on a course when Healy should provide the training? And there is training from Healy, and I'm not telling you not to do that. What I'm talking about today is looking more on a cellular level, like using my expertise that I'm bringing in is more about working with the physical body, understanding what's going on, and learning to actually listen to the body and know which programs to do and how to actually work with them on a deep way. So that's my reason why. And I'm there to support your journey along the way. And I'm happy to show you demonstrations and everything. This course will help you to master your Healy. You'll be able to quickly read results, to vibrate them, feel more confident with the technicals, get rid of any overwhelm and confusion, and any doubts that the device is working for you. That's the whole idea of what this is all about. But it's not just a course that you go through on your own, because that in itself is quite overwhelming. You want to be supported as well, so you can ask some more questions. So what I'm doing is I'm also going to give you access to my special portal with my membership. And in there is going to have my tapping with frequency and a bunch of other things. Like I've just launched the series, the 5 Chinese elements, and I'm showing you how your different elements can be out of balance, and then which Healy programs to do. So actually some of the members don't know that's launched yet. I need to share that with everybody. So yeah, so this is something that I'd love to share with more people. And what is the membership? Just to get a bit more clear, it's for anyone who wants to go deep, for a deep level impact, good for identifying your deepest core needs, activating your confidence, moving the stuck energy, leading you to abundance in life, not just money, anything, making you feel good in life, making you happy, helping you to fall in love with life again. That's what we really want. So this is what's inside the membership. We've got 21 days to high vibrancy living, which we're about to do. Those who've done it before, it's in there and we're doing it live. 8 Healy demos to resolve money blocks, the Healy 101 course, but also I've got beyond the basics. I'm doing masterclasses on all the different resonance databases, and we've got Healy program descriptions, the vibe guide. I've got schedules that are coming. I'm going to have tapping with frequency, and then you're going to have support in the community. We do weekly Healy classes as well. It's really great. There's definitely a lot of support. There's a little testimonial there, someone that is enjoying it. I saw Angela in the chat, just thank you so much. She's enjoying it, and I really appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah, really great that. Thank you for sharing that you're enjoying it, because this is what this is all about. I really want to help and support you to find the results that you're looking for in life as well. Thanks, Alice. Thanks, Christina. Finally, this is what it is. So this is the value of it, right? Actually, it's actually higher value than this. I didn't even bother to recreate this slide because I've added more to the membership now, but there's a lot more value than this. This is just some of the value. And this is what I'm offering it today. This is for 3 months access. It's $111. It's nothing really. If you think about what you spend on coffees every month and whatever else, like $111 for 3 months access. Now I'm doing 3 months access because the amount of information I have in there is just a lot for a month. I don't want to just give it to someone for a month, because probably you won't do it. I want to give you enough time to really enjoy and to get familiar and to feel safe in there. So $111, 3 months access. And not only that, Jazz Deep is going to be coming in, and this is going to be so exciting. She's going to be creating specialist Healy programs based on real cellular level healing for people. We're going to be working together and really understanding and putting together specific Healy programs that are extraordinary, different to something you've ever seen before. And you're going to know what's inside every Healy program as well. We're going to be doing a class on what's inside a Healy program. If you haven't listened to our podcast that we did yet, it's so good. That's on YouTube. I can share that. It's an amazing session we had where she talked about Healy and Healy programs. So how to actually get involved. This is just get started, $111, and this is the information to join. So I've actually put the QR code. Last time there was a bit of an issue with this, but that's if you just go on and go to highervibrancyliving.com/trilogy of success with the little dashes in between. I'm going to share this. Maybe you can share that in the chat box. Somebody who's in there, I can also do it. And I'm opening the floor for questions now as well. And if you also want the vibe guide, just pop vibe guide into the chat if you want to buy that. It's $20. It's really nothing, and you have it for life, and you can download it, and it's really good. It helps you to learn how long to vibrate. If you want to have that first. Thank you so much for all the great comments about the membership, everybody. That's amazing. This is the vibe guide. The vibe guide is going to be $99, but right now it's $20. And basically you can use the credit. So when you get the vibe guide, you'll get an email with a credit code, and then you can actually put that towards the membership. So actually you get the membership for $91 rather than $111. So because you're going to get the vibe guide when you join the membership. So whether you buy the vibe guide or join the membership first, you're going to pay the same. Let's open up the floor for questions. I would love to know what questions you have. I'm just reading Anna. I'm loving your membership. I'm using my Healy a lot more now because I didn't know how to really use it to its full potential and help me mentally, physically, and spiritually. Oh, thank you so much, everybody. That's amazing. All right. Does anyone have questions? Let's go back. So I'm very sensitive to energies. It causes nausea and headaches. I've been using the coil only. It's not giving me enough. Is it not giving me enough? I tried to run skin program after having a skin treatment, but it's saying no measurable current is flowing and it's set to 100%. Any ideas? So just to answer your question, like, I'm not saying that the response, like I said, I'm not saying the coil doesn't work. I'm just saying that if you think about it, you're taking the direct flight to your cells. But if that's too much, like some people like flying very quickly somewhere to the other side of the world, they might get like jet lag. So they're having symptoms of jet lag, but they need to stop off along the way because they need time to get used to the environment. I'm just using that as an analogy. Sometimes you've got to take your time to get there too, especially if your body's not used to it. Make sure that you're doing pure program, because the pure program helps your cells and to communicate better, and also to receive frequencies more protected. And do it for 30 days. And do it with the coil. It's fine. The coil is going to work. It just takes longer. That's it. And if you're sensitive, then it won't take as long as to someone that isn't sensitive. So it is going to work. Now, if it's saying no measurable current, it means that your coil is not working. Sorry to say. If you've got that fully plugged in, then there's something wrong, because no matter what, your coil should, once your coil is plugged in, it should definitely move the wavy line across. And yeah, so that's what I say. And also just anyone who's using the coil and it is working, like the wavy line, if you have it at 100%, your Healy is going to last just a couple of hours with the battery. The coil like drains the battery of the Healy. So if you don't need it at 100% all the time, you can also have it at 50% and it will help your Healy last longer. With the response, it can last days. That's just a little tip there. Have you turned to settings and Heal Advisor search to low? So that's another thing I'm showing you how to do in the portal. You can probably find it on YouTube. I think I've done a YouTube video on it as well. Like you can actually go into Heal Advisor and change the current to a low current rather than a high current. After the 3 months of 111, how much is it to continue? There's a monthly membership fee after the 3 months if you decide to stay. So it's £27 a month, which is about $35 a month for anyone in the US. So yeah, that's what it is to continue. I've got the vibe guide. Yes, you have the vibe guide with the membership. It's in module 2, I think. Module 2. I can guide you, Evelyn, and you can download it. And I've actually split the videos up into sections for you. Why is it not flowing? It works on some programs. Yeah, if it's working on some programs, it just means it's maybe a bit faulty, because it should flow on all programs. So it could be that it's working on some and not on others. I'm sensitive to the Healy. Also, how many times a day should you use the wristbands? So I don't ever say do it more than 3 programs, but honestly, less is more. On the session I had with Jazz the other day, she was telling me before the Healy came out, there was a time before the Healy. The Time Wave has a blue and a pink app. Let's just call them that, right? There's 2 ways of using Time Waver. And Jazz said she used the pink of the Time Waver. It's not actually called that on Time Waver, but I'm just doing it so we can relate. She used the so-called pink app of the Time Waver and used to hold these metal rods. And she said like she used to do it twice a week. And she said that she used to feel like incredible results. So don't feel bad if you're not using your Healy every day. Like Jazz used to do this cellular healing twice a week. That could be enough for you, Evelyn. You know, if you're sensitive. She said she used to have huge shifts. Whereas once you have a strong focus and you know what you're focusing on, and you don't need to overdo all the programs, just pick a few and just work directly with them with the coil. And what I'd really recommend if you're using the coil is to really sit and receive the frequencies, which is why I do the tapping with frequency, because it's a really great way to embody our mind into the frequency healing. Like you go for a massage, you're not going to be doing something else at the same time. You're going to sit and close your eyes. You want the same. Remember, frequency healing is like a massage, but it's a vibrational massage. So we need to make sure that we're really feeling in our bodies safe to receive the frequencies. And we want to make sure that our body is optimized for the frequencies as well. Less is more. Yeah, I agree. Really good. How much do I charge for one-to-one session, Trish? So I do one-to-ones. I just have very limited time at the moment because I have a baby. And honestly, to have this session right now, I have a nanny here who's helping me. And often she ends up joining me on sessions because it's just having a 5-month baby. You just don't know what's going to happen. So I'm very limited with my time for one-to-ones. However, I just opened up 2 spots, which I filled for a 10-week program. So what I'm doing is I'm actually working with people that want to actually make a shift, a transformation. And I want to work with people on a deeper level. I don't tend to do one-to-ones because I don't have time. But if you do come to the membership, I do a weekly Healy class, and I will sometimes jump on a chat with you and I can support you that way. But I don't tend to just do one-to-ones anymore. I just don't have the energy or the time. But yeah, if you're interested in a 10-week shift transformation with me, and we do some deep dive with meditations and things like that, then I definitely recommend you can send me a message and I can put you on a waiting list. So when I'm finished with my current 2, then we can make it happen for you as well. I have another woman as well I talked to recently who's interested in doing that. Yeah, let me know if anyone's interested in that. I'm happy to, and if something comes up, a weekly thing, then happy to help. All right, so that's it. I think I'm gonna finish the class there. It's been an amazing session. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm just very curious to see all of you. If you want to I'd love to see you. If you want to pop your cameras on, I'd love to see your faces. I'm sweating here. It's so hot in here. Can't believe I have been baby free as well for the whole of this time. It's like I actually have the activation program, and I channeled divine energy for this session so that I would not be disturbed, and it's worked. Thank you. Oh, it's lovely to see you all. Wonderful. All right, those who are in the membership, see you there, and anyone who wants to join, come join us. We're a beautiful bunch, and share with your friends. I'd love it if you could share with your friends. If anyone wants to share, actually, there's a possibility for an affiliate link. I'm very grateful for all of you and your energy, and keep shining your light. You're all doing great. Just showing up is one step towards a better and more healthy you, and you're already working on a cellular level just by being here in this space all together. So I send you all my love. I'd love to, if you all want to unmute yourselves and say bye. I'd love to hear your voices, your frequencies.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye, everyone. Thank you. Thanks, Tracy.
Bye.
Bye. Bye, Christina. Oh, it's good to see you too.
You look wonderful, by the way.
Thank you. Bye, everybody.